Hey, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to themikewagnershow@gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show at the on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful gentleman from Pasco, Washington. He's a country music singer, songwriter, musician. He's been playing the drums since 3 years old, guitar at 13. Also wrote his first song at the age of 15. He also served as drummer for Night Argent. He opened for Old Dominion, James Otto, Wade Hayes. Also, Trek Pony, Sawyer Brown, and more. And this guy is a soon-to-be upcoming legend, and he's got a new single out talking about being a cowboy and more. And live, ladies and gentlemen, the very next superstar coming out, Pasco, Washington, from Washington State, the pride of the Pacific Northwest, Zac Burrell. Zac, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Man, Mike, you got me feeling 7 foot tall sitting here with that intro. Thank you very much, my man. You're a gentleman.
Hey, anytime, Pacific Northwest, it's like 7 feet tall is actually a requirement. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the norm. That's the norm around here. We're all swinging axes.
Yes, that's too. And, of course, I could wish I could swing that. And, of course, you also perform for Access TV, just swing an axe and more. And, of course, you've been a country music singer, songwriter, musician for quite some time. You started playing the drums at the age of 3, guitar at 13, wrote your first song at 15. You're a drummer for Night Argent. You also opened for Old Dominion, James Otto, Wade Hayes, Trek Pony, Sawyer Brown, and more. And before we get into all that, tell us how you got started in music.
I got started when I was about, like you said, 3 years old. I got my first drum set. It was one of those little kid ones from like Fred Meyer or something, And I started beating holes in it, and my parents were like, well, maybe we should upgrade him to a bigger drum set, So my uncle was a drummer all his life, and he sent me over one of his drum kits, and it was a adult-sized drum kit, so I really couldn't reach the bottom pedal, but I played with my hands. So I did that, and I started learning drums and started playing drums around my house and learning covers and just playing whatever my mom and dad would play on the record player, and started playing that kind of stuff. And then I blossomed over to the guitar. My dad played guitar his whole life, and he had guitars around the house. And so I was always like, hey, what does this do? What does this do? And so I started strumming on that and started playing piano at 16. And it was just something that slowly started to accumulate over time. And it was something that I really didn't take seriously. I just thought it was something fun to do. So I did it as a hobby growing up, but over time I started getting more and more into it. And that's when I ended up realizing, hey, I can actually make something out of this. I could do all these things, and I want to start writing music. And that's how it all blossomed,
And what was that one precise moment that influenced you into what you're doing today?
Definitely when I was about 15, 16 years old, I had a band, and we entered our school talent show. It was actually called Battle of the Bands at the time. And I was the drummer for that band. And it was like 2 practices before the show. We were all messing around, and during one of our practices, because we already knew the songs, and we were like, hey, let's all switch instruments. And so the guitar player came over and kicked me off the drum set, and I went and kicked the lead singer off the mic, and we all kind of switched. And we started the song up, and I started singing it, and a lot of the guys in the band were like, hey, do you know the song? Like, you got the words down? And I was like, yeah, I don't need to read it or anything. They're like, dude, like, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but they're like, you sing better than our main guy who's singing. Like, you should definitely sing this song. And so that night, 2 days later at the talent show, I ended up singing it. And the feeling that I got when I sang that song, and my whole student body saw it, and I got a standing ovation. And like, the way I felt, I feel like I went from zero to hero that day. And ever since then, I've wanted to take this seriously and like take it as an actual career. And because I never really had the confidence beforehand that I could do it. And then once I sang that night, and all my friends started coming up to me, and they're like, dude, you need to write some songs. Like, we'd listen to you all day and all that kind of stuff. That's when I was really like, okay, this is something worth chasing here. And it was just something that sparked it that night that made me want to do it for a career.
And that's amazing too. Did you guys end up winning the Battle of the Bands?
No, we actually lost.
Really? Oh, no. You had me going there for a minute.
Yeah,
I thought
did.
you won.
us writers are storytellers, man. I had you going. No, we definitely lost.
Oh, my goodness.
Definitely wasn't.
And I'll bet you those guys are like, why the heck did you switch?
Yeah, exactly. The other lead singer was like, man, we would have won if it was for me, but I don't know. We ended up losing. There was a lot of talented other bands that were in there that night, and it was just, we had a very musical school, and I don't know, it was cool just to do it, just for the sake of, I got to sing in front of people for the first time, and I don't know. It didn't stop me none.
And of course, and here you are today with some of your singles as well, too, our brand new EP, and also you also been drummer for Night Argent as well, too. And tell us about that experience.
Oh, man, that was something that I started when I was 19. I jumped into this band that was already a full-on nationally touring band, and they all lived within around my hometown. I live in Pasco, Washington, but it's called the Tri-Cities, and it's made up of Kennewick, Pasco, and Richland here in Washington. And so we had some living in Richland, some living in Kennewick, some living here, and it's all relatively close. And so I went over there, and I actually had a meeting to ask the lead singer of the band. I messaged him on Facebook. I actually had a meeting with him to discuss how to get into the music industry as a solo artist. And as we started talking, I told him I was a drummer, and he ended up asking me to try out for his band because they were missing a drummer. And I tried out. Their drummer just quit or something like that. And I tried out. I got the gig, and for about 7 years, I toured the nation with those guys as their drummer. And I got out of college. I was on my second year of college. I got out of college to pursue it, and basically saved up all the money that I had to put towards getting an online degree. I haven't got it yet, but I wanted to go to online school and have my music pay for it. But it was an amazing experience. My parents were the ones who encouraged me to do it. My dad was like, hey, as long as you treat it like college and you use it to your advantage to further your career for the future, we don't mind it. And so I got to leave Washington State for the first time in my life as a traveling musician, and it was amazing. It was awesome.
That had to be amazing as well, too. And what are you currently studying online?
No, I'm not taking any online classes right now. I just saved up the money to do the online classes.
Oh, that's for later. So, okay, I thought you were doing it now or so while you're doing your music career. Okay, all right.
No. I'm saving it so I can, once I'm on the road and stuff, I can enroll and start doing that probably here in the next year or two.
And any plans what you'll be studying?
Yeah, I definitely want to get into business and business management. I want to understand the ins and outs of the money that's coming in and going out, because I definitely feel like the music career is something that I'm very passionate about, and that's what I go off of is my passion for it. but I feel like what's going to make it or break it as far as taking it to the next level is what you do with what you earn. And so
and of course,
I want to.
And, of course, it looks like you've taken it to a whole new level as well, too. You opened for Old Dominion and more. You performed on a number of fests. We'll talk about it in just a minute. But first, you listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with country music singer, songwriter, musician Zac Burrell from the Pacific Northwest on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about how he got his career started playing drums at the age of 3, guitar at 13, wrote his first song at 15, piano at 16. He was also drummer of Night Argent, and he also performed on Access TV, South by Southwest, Battle of the Bands, and opened up for Old Dominion, James Outawait Hayes, also Trick Pony, Sawyer Brown, and more. And tell us all about that. Very impressive.
Yeah, so I got my solo start. I moved from Night Argent as the drummer, and I wanted to pursue a solo career because that's what I wanted to do since the very beginning. And I ended up, it was one of the shows we were playing with Night Argent. We ended up bumping into a very known cover band in our area. They're a country cover band. Their name was Stompin' Ground. And I told them a little bit about me and how I wanted to start diving into the country music world, and they were super pumped about it, and they loved our Night Argent band, and we loved them. And they were like, hey, well, we want to check out one of your shows. And so they came. I had a solo show the following weekend, and I was playing in a coffee shop just by myself, acoustic guitar, and they came and checked it out, and they loved it. And they're like, hey, man, do you want to join forces? Like, you could do your Zac Burrell thing for our show, and you could do some covers for us, and like, we'll join forces together and play some shows, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how it blossoms, you know. And it blossomed into a really good relationship with those guys, and we started playing a lot of shows in the bars, and I did that for about 2 years with them. But during that time, during the summer, we got a lot of cool opportunities, like with the Old Dominion gig. They were coming through the Walla Walla Fair in Washington, and we got an opportunity to open up for them. And so I got to show them my first, that single that's out, that Cowboy song. I got to show and play for them that song, which was really cool. And then we also opened up for, like you said, Trick Pony, James Otto. And also it's been pretty cool because I've gained a lot of relationships from there. Like, I'm really good friends with James Otto now. We're going to be doing some writing together here pretty soon. And it's just been an awesome opportunity. And ever since then, ever since leaving that Stomping Ground band, it feels weird saying leaving because I never leave those guys. They're like family. But ever since not working with them anymore, I've gotten to go down to Nashville for the first time, and I'm now endorsed by a guitar company called Breedlove Guitars, and they have a stage down in Nashville, a little shop too. It's called Two Old Hippies Nashville. And I got to go play down there last summer, and I got to meet some really cool people down in Nashville, and I'm getting ready to schedule some rights down there now. So just this whole thing, like, in full circle, has been an awesome opportunity and experience. I've learned so much from it, and it's just cool to know that I can actually pursue this for a living solely and get the ball rolling, you know?
And that sounds fantastic as well, too. And you also play with the Sawyer Brown Band, and tell us more about them and what's it like playing for them.
Oh man, Sawyer Brown, they have a huge show. Those guys are unbelievable. Their show is awesome. We opened up for them in my hometown, in Tri-Cities, and they played at this place called the Clover Island Inn, and they had a pretty big turnout. They had probably about like 1,100 people there. It was pretty crazy, but we got to open up with them for Stompin' Ground and the Zac Burrell project, and we played probably an hour or two before them, and then they played, and then we closed out the night. But we got to hang out with those guys, and it was just an awesome experience being able to hang with people who have been in the industry for that long and doing what those guys do. And yeah, it was just a really cool opportunity.
That is one of the best as well, too. And we'll play Cowboy in just a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We hear a country music singer, songwriter, musician Zac Burrell here on the Mike Wagner Show from Washington State, and talking about how he got started playing drummer for Night Argent as drummer, performed on Access TV, South by Southwest, also open for Old Dominion, James Otto, Wade Hayes, and more. And right now, we'll be getting to his big single, Cowboy, out round, which was #1 in one of the country independent charts, and talk about his latest EP. Here's Cowboy from Zac Burrell on the Mike Wagner Show.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Size me up when I step in the room. They know I'm a city boy with my Nike shoes. Wanna be smile with a big shaved face, looking like a little lost boy in this place. You know what I mean? I need a big tall hat and Wrangler jeans. This is my life on the jet. Keep up with me and you will see what's next. If I was a cowboy, I'd be the best around. I'd be riding my horse all around the town. Be a straight shot, spit you in. I'd wear my cowboy boots. Girls, they know me by the yee-haw. Serenade them with my southern drawl. I wanna be a cowboy if I was a cowboy, baby. Solo cup, fill it up, I'm singing Copenhagen Grand, take a dip, no playing. Girl, I wanna live the lifestyle of an outlaw. Sit back and watch me play the guitar. I wanna relate to the great George Strait. Have a couple drinks with my boy John Wayne. This is all I'm really asking for. Let me show you what I got in store. If I was a cowboy, I'd be the best around. I'd be riding my horse all around the town. Be a straight shot, speed you in. I'd wear my cowboy boots. Girls, they know me by the yee-haw. Serenade them with my southern drawl. I wanna be a cowboy if I was a cowboy, baby. We gon' break it down just a little bit. I wanna be a Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson, Mighty Merle, Alan Jackson. Listen, 8 seconds ain't a thing. Riding on a Mustang. Wanna be a Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson, Mighty Merle, Alan Jackson. And 8 seconds ain't a thing. Riding on a Mustang. Yeah. I was a cowboy, I'd be the best around. I'd be riding my horse all around this town. Straight shot, spit it, did you? And I'd wear my cowboy boots. Girls, they know me by the yee-haw. Serenade them with my southern drawl. I wanna be a cowboy if I was a cowboy.
And yes, that was Zac Burrell with Cowboy here on the Mike Wagner Show. And tell us more about that song. What influenced you to write it?
So I wrote that song when I was about 18 years old. Most of the time when I write music, I write about like life experiences. I'm sure a lot of artists do. But with this one, I wanted to kind of have a little bit more fun with it. And when I was first jumping into this country music industry, I was like, I wonder what it'd be like to play in Nashville. I wonder what it'd be like to go to Nashville. Like, how would my persona be? Like, what kind of person would I be if I went there? And so when I wrote the song, I totally wrote it off of a false image of like kind of like an over the top image of what it would be like to go down to Nashville and play, and like in a dream world, what it would be like. So, and it shows that in the music video as well. It shows basically like my hip hop self falling asleep on the bed and waking and falling asleep and going into a dream as like the picture perfect cowboy kind of thing. So when I wrote it based off of the thought of what it would be like if I was to go down to Nashville and how I would woo the people in Nashville. And I feel like the best way to do it is just to go down there as a good old cowboy and just kind of be an outlaw kind of style of guy that all the girls want. And I just wrote to that image that I painted in my head, and that's how the song blossomed, I guess. That's
amazing as well, too. It's off your EP Part 1, and tell us more about that and some of the other songs off the EP.
Yeah, it has 2 other songs on the EP. The other song is called Love What We Does, and that's a song based off of experiences. So that song was written basically about summer nights, hanging with friends and just going out and, I don't know, bonfires and stuff like that, and just writing about what the picture perfect summer night would look like. And so that song was basically about a guy and a girl hanging out, falling in love on a summer night. And so that's Love What We Does. And then the other song is a song called Everything. And that song is basically about a guy who's so in love with a girl that she's just everything to him. And it's just another love song. I write a lot of love songs in my music arsenal. I got a lot of love songs. So it's basically about a guy in love with a girl and describing how without her, he can't live. She's his everything kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so, and of course, those are the 3 songs on there.
And of course, we love your work as well, too, irregardless. So we just love your work. I mean, that's what it sounds like. So, and of course, I was thinking about that song Cowboy as well, too. You rattled off Garth Brooks, Willie Nelson. And I wasn't sure if I asked that question earlier. Of course, I'm human, too. And who are some of your favorite singers and songwriters and musicians growing up? I wasn't sure if I asked that earlier.
Oh, no, you're good. I had a wide array of different musical genres put in front of me growing up because my dad was like an old rocker and he was all about blues and rock. And my mom was basically the Motown R&B soul kind of vibe. And so my inspiration, I'll start off with like the kind that I like. I like listening to like artists like Keith Urban and Sam Hunt and Thomas Rhett and artists like that, Garth Brooks. I love that kind of stuff. But then my mother's artists that influenced me growing up were R&B artists like Bill Withers, Marvin Gaye, Al Green, artists like that. Stevie Wonder, I loved him as well. And then my dad's inspiration was like blues artists, anything from like Stevie Ray Vaughan to like John Lee Hooker, a lot of George Thorogood, stuff like that. I listen to those artists. So compiling all those artists together, like my sound, I feel it's like a blend of country and pop and R&B and blues. So that's like what my sound is compiled of.
That is a very interesting combination. I greatly love it. Once again, Zac Burrell, country music singer, songwriter, musician here on the Mike Wagner Show from Washington State. What are your upcoming plans for 2020, and when do we expect another release?
So we're working on a new EP right now. It's going to be a 4-song EP, and I think the main single on that's going to be a song called 1 Minute. I have if you want to check it out, Mike, or anybody listening, on Wednesday, I have a Facebook and Instagram live video, and I'm going to show a song or 2 from that new EP on there. It's going to be at around 6 o'clock. Excuse me, I have that coming on. That's in the works right now. We're just not working in the studio right now because of this whole COVID situation. Mm-hmm. Then also, we had a tour scheduled or planned with our new management group called B Squared Management. And we had a tour planned in June that was going to be about a month long, but it got canceled because of COVID. And so now we are working on, hopefully, if everything opens back up, we're working on a fall festival tour that we're going to be out and about for. And hopefully we could be opening up for some bigger names and stuff. We're just trying to get into the festival game. That way we can broaden our horizons. We've never played festivals before, so I want to kind of tour around the nation and do that. So that's in the works right now. So got the new EP coming out soon, hopefully after all this COVID stuff's done. And then we're going to be doing a fall festival tour.
That is fantastic. And a couple more things here. We'd love to have you back on in 2020. You've been fantastic. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
That one's easy. It's a bit cliche though. My biggest influence definitely is the man upstairs. I mean, I know it sounds very cliche, but I feel like I'm a faith-based guy, and in my religion, like, I just believe that in my belief, it's just based off of blinded faith. And I feel like that's what my career is based off of. Like when I was 16 and I played that show in high school, the reason why I wanted to do this is because of the amazing feeling that I got from doing that. I've never had anything that made me feel that way. So I knew I wanted to do that for my career. So to me, that's blinded faith in its own right there. So the tie that I have to that is with my religious views, I have blinded faith for him. And then with my work, I have blinded faith for my career. The only thing I need to do on top of that is work hard. So,
and that's
my biggest influence.
And that's a big amen right there. I'll tell you that. So,
hey, thank you very much, Mike.
Amen,
thank you very much, Mike.
Hey, no problem. And I know a couple more things. Not yet here. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
What was that? Excuse me.
I'm sorry. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Oh, best advice I can give to anybody at any point is, no matter where you are in your career, no matter where you are in life, you're going to get knocked down. So expect it, because life ain't going to be so easy. So in my life and my career, I've been knocked down plenty of times, and I'm still continuing to get knocked down today. But the thing is, it's not about what you do when you get knocked down. It's what you do when you attempt to get up. And for me, if you expect to get knocked down, when you get knocked down, it doesn't faze you, because you're so focused on what you're going to do when you get up. So for me is always continue working and never be afraid of no, and always work for a yes. So that's the best advice that I can give.
That's a very good point, Zach. Once again, Zac Burrell, country music singer, songwriter, musician from Washington State, and our Mike Wagner Show. A big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you on soon. And before we go, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase or listen to your music?
Most definitely. Thank you very much, Mike, for your time, by the way. And don't think that I didn't do some studying on you. I saw that you were a sports radio personnel kind of guy, and I'm a huge sports fan, by the way.
Oh, really? You know something? I think we should talk sports sometime. And if you had your own podcast, I'll be more than glad to talk sports as well, too.
Oh, most definitely. When I found out that you were in sports, man, it just made me feel so good, because in this music industry, it's so hard to find people who are big into sports. And, like, I'm a huge sports buff. Not to get off topic, but I just want to let you know that before I let you go.
That's okay. And I think if I'm correct about Garth Brooks, I think he either played football or basketball, Oklahoma, and I think there was also a couple more celebrities that played sports that got into music. I'll have to dig up my research, and we'll talk more about that.
Most definitely. But if I could talk to Garth Brooks right now, I'm sure sports wouldn't be the first thing on my mind. So I got to find people who are in my realm of work that are into sports too, you know?
Exactly. Just make sure they're not friends in low places. So only in sports places.
I see what you did there. That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, we'll talk sports sometime as well too. Again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or listen to your music?
Definitely. You can, so right now I have that next EP coming out. Like I said, that got stopped because of this COVID thing. But right after things get back into working order, we're going to be working on that, and I'll be updating everybody on my website, which is www.zacburrell.com, and that's ZACBURRELL.com. And then they can also follow me on all my social medias. I have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Zac Burrell. It's spelled exactly the same. It's just ZAC And yeah, I post everything and then also on YouTube. I post things on YouTube as well, which is the same thing, Zac Burrell. But yeah, all the updates for the new EP are going to be on there. I'm on Spotify, I'm on iTunes, I'm on everything, Amazon Music, I'm on iHeartRadio. Right now it has EP Part 1, which is a 3-song EP on it, but the new EP is going to be coming out. So if they follow one of those things, they're going to find my new updates and when my new EP is going to drop and all that good stuff.
That's fantastic. Once again, Zac Burrell, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Looking forward to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. You've been great.
Hey, thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate you for your time.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.